I'm sure you'll agree that life truly is the greatest gift a human being can ever have. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but I firmly believe that we should treat every day like it's our last. I also believe that our best years of our life are far, far too short. Time just seems to go by so quickly. So we should make the most of every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every year of our lives. Kind of sounds like the Friends theme tune. But you see my point. Unfortunately though, we know that life just isn't that simple. And from time to time, we get thrown a few unexpected curveballs. And it's these unexpected curveballs that are there to distress, derail and distract us from the enjoyment and beauty that life has to offer. If this sounds familiar, don't worry, because it does to me too. So let me take you back. You see, a few years ago, and actually up until quite recently, I was subject to these so-called curveballs and unwanted distractions. For quite a few years, I was unhappy in life, unfulfilled, stuck in a rut. I had a gambling problem, I was heavily in debt, and my day-to-day life became somewhat of a struggle. But because of these distractions, I became uninterested and detached from the enjoyable things in life. But I knew I needed to make a change. I knew the only way for me to climb out of the hole I was in and see the light was to rid myself of all of this negativity and toxic habits that I had got so used to. Fast forward to now, and I can honestly say that my life has completely transformed. So if you're watching this video and you can relate to what I've said so far, you feel like you're in a bit of a rut and you're deeply unfulfilled with your current lifestyle, then I strongly urge you to keep watching this video. And I'm going to try and help you out. Let me ask you a quick question, and don't worry, there's no right or wrong answers. How do we make the most out of our time and live a life full of joy, happiness and fulfillment? Any guesses? Well, in my opinion, the best way we can do this is by finding a purpose. Finding your sense of purpose. Finding that thing that is going to keep you going, it's going to keep you driven and motivated even when life gets tough. Because as we've already discussed, life can get tough from time to time. Because without a doubt, having a strong sense of purpose and a vision was a catalyst that helped me transform my own life. And if you keep watching this video, I strongly believe that you'll be one step closer to finding your own purpose so you can transform your life too. And you can live life how it's intended to be lived, with joy, with happiness and with fulfillment. So without further ado, let's begin. So what exactly is purpose? Well, I think we already have a pretty good idea about what purpose means. And I'm sure if you do a quick Google search, you'll find millions and millions of different results and definitions. But here's what I've found. Purpose is the motivation that drives you towards a satisfying future. In layman's terms, purpose is the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. So why do we all need a purpose in life? Well, the honest answer is, we don't. Everyone's different. We're all unique. Some people are happy, some people are unhappy in life. That's just the way it is. If you're sat at home and you're watching this video right now and you're happy in life, you're content with your current lifestyle, even though you don't have any, visions or goals or missions or purpose, that's absolutely fine. You're happy. As far as I'm concerned, you've won at life. We're all striving to be happy in life. So if you've already found that, why fix what's not broken? Why change anything at all? But on the other side, if you're sat at home watching this video and you're deeply unfulfilled with your life, you're unhappy, you want to reach success, you want to make more money, you want to maybe start a business you've always wanted to start, or perhaps you wanted to start your own YouTube channel, then keep watching. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I was unhappy for quite a few years, and it wasn't until I found my own sense of purpose that my life started to improve. I became more well-rounded and confident as a person. I began to form healthier and better habits, and I looked forward to, and I still look forward to, most days. And of course, I'm not perfect. I still do experience those good and bad days. That's not going to change. But having a sense of purpose keeps me motivated, keeps me driven, keeps me fired up to push through the day even when times are tough. And I can look through rose-tinted glasses. So if you are unhappy and you want your life to be more fulfilling and you want to climb out of that rut you're in, here are 4 reasons why I think having a purpose can massively help. Firstly, it gives you focus. Having a purpose in life can, and in my opinion, will affect your decisions positively in the short term. When you have a purpose, you have something to wake up for every day. You'll be able to focus more on what's actually important in your day-to-day life, rather than becoming distracted by the things that are irrelevant or may try and derail your progress. And unfortunately, at some point, we all encounter distractions. Whether it's your boss asking you to do overtime, your friends trying to persuade you to go out for just a few drinks, or perhaps your noisy neighbour who won't let you record a YouTube video in peace. The less said, the better. My point is this. If you have a strong sense of purpose, you have a vision, a long-term goal, it's far easier to remain focused and motivated in the short term. Number 2, it gives your life clarity. And this can be summed up perfectly by Tony Robbins, who I'm sure many of you have heard of before. And I actually found a really good quote on his website. It's kind of like a story, and I want to read it for you right now. So if you give me 2 seconds, I'm going to get my specs. Ta-da! How you doing? Tony says, too many of us don't make the majority of our decisions consciously. In doing so, we pay a major price. In fact, most people live what I call the Niagara syndrome. I believe that life is like a river, and that most people jump on the river of life without ever really deciding where they want to end up. So, in a short period of time, they get caught up in the current events, current fears, current challenges. When they come to the forks in the river, they don't consciously decide where they want to go or which is the right direction for them. They merely go with the flow. They become part of the mass of people who are directed by the environment instead of by their own values. As a result, they feel out of control. They remain in this unconscious state until one day the sound of the raging water awakens them and they discover that they are 5 feet from Niagara Falls in a boat with no oars. At this point they say, "Oh shoot." Well, you'd say something different, but we'll go with "oh shoot." But by then it's too late. They're going to take a fall. Sometimes it's an emotional fall, sometimes it's a physical fall, sometimes it's a financial fall. It's likely that whatever challenges you have in your life currently could have been avoided by making some better decisions upstream. Essentially, I think what Tony's saying here is that having a purpose in life will allow you to know exactly where you want to go, so you can then focus all your energy to get there. Next, we have integrity. Knowing your purpose in life helps you live a life with integrity. People who know their purpose in life know who they are, what they are, and why they are. And when you know yourself, it becomes easier to live a life that's true to your core values. When you live with integrity, you inspire, influence, and motivate those around you to do the same. And there's also many personal benefits that you're likely to experience. For example, number 1, people see you as someone with high value and a lot to give. Number 2, you'll have bigger and better opportunities in life because more people are willing to trust you. Number 3, you'll be able to build more meaningful and deeper relationships and more people will be willing to work with you. And number 4, you'll get rewarded more in a personal fulfillment sense and in a financial sense. Purpose keeps you persevering. And as I'm sure you all know, life can be full of distractions, as I mentioned earlier. And in the words of Ronan Keating, life really is a roller coaster. I know that was really cheesy, but my point is still valid. And I like that song. As humans, we experience different events all the time. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, you have no idea what your day is going to bring, who you're going to meet, and what you're going to do. And unfortunately, from time to time, life can throw a few curveballs at us. And I'm sure at some point we have all experienced hardship and struggle. And it's these challenging times that can make people feel demotivated and pessimistic. But this is the exact reason I believe that having a sense of purpose in life can be so beneficial. So you've heard me rattle on, and hopefully by now you've realised that having a purpose can truly be beneficial if you're someone who is unhappy and unfulfilled with life. But just to back up what I've said so far, I've actually found a few studies. So bear with me, I've just got to put my glasses back on. So firstly, according to a 2014 study on individuals receiving substance abuse treatment in the Journal of Social Service Research, researchers found a strong sense of correlation between the impact of a sense of meaning and purpose upon one's mental health. As stated in this study, people who create a sense of purpose and meaning in their lives and seek to find and experience their true self experience fewer symptoms of depression and anxiety. Additionally, a study within the International Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that individuals, and in particular adolescents with higher levels of meaning in life, reported fewer health-related behavior problems such as drug use, lack of exercise, and unsafe sex. Researchers hypothesized that having purpose in life is related to lower psychosomatic symptoms and appears to serve as a protective role. That was a bit of a tongue twister. And finally, last but not least, a study within the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology concluded that lower levels of psychological well-being and lack of purpose in life have a strong correlation with higher rates of depression. So I've talked about what purpose is and why it's important, and I've even given you some examples of research to back up what I've said. But what I want to do now is give you some real life examples of people with a purpose, with a mission, with long-term goals. And you'll notice that they all have one thing in common, and that is that they are incredibly successful. Firstly, we have Elon Musk, serial entrepreneur and founder and CEO of Tesla, and currently the second richest man in the world, with an estimated net worth of almost $130 billion. I think it's fair to say that when it comes to success, Elon Musk is sitting firmly at the top of the tree. According to Elon Musk, the mission and purpose of Tesla is quite simple, and that's the acceleration of sustainable energy, because he believes that this is the next potential risk for humanity. On the subject of having a purpose, Elon says this: I think it's important to have a future that is inspiring and appealing. There has to be reasons you get up in the morning and want to live. Why do you want to live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you love about the future? Secondly, we have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. According to Dwayne, his purpose came about when he was only 14 years old, as he watched his mother cry after coming home to discover an eviction notice and a padlock on the door of their tiny one-bedroom flat in Honolulu. It was then and there that 14-year-old Dwayne Johnson made a vow to himself. I was determined to take control of the situation, he said. I would never ever be homeless again, and I'd never ever see my mum cry like that again. It occurred to me that all of the men I knew who had achieved success were all men of great physical stature. It was at this point that Dwayne started taking his training more seriously. And even though lifting weights and paying rent are unconnected, the determination and sense of purpose that grew out of that event would continue to serve him throughout his career, which ultimately has transformed him into one of the biggest, most successful, and I'm sure you'll agree, most popular actors in the world today. And finally, last but not least, we have Walt Disney, who, on October the 16th, 1923, founded a small company called Disney. You may have heard of them. Now, according to Disney's very own website, their purpose is to entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe through the power of unparalleled storytelling, reflecting the iconic brands, creative minds, and innovative technologies that make ours the world's premier entertainment company. Now, it's all well and good me sitting here and going on about why purpose is so important, but what's more important is for me to help you actually try and find your own purpose, because otherwise this information would be pointless. So I want you to take a minute and ask yourself this question, and in fact write it down in big bold letters for you to see. If you didn't have to please or worry about anyone else, what would you do? If money was of no concern, how would you spend your time? Where would you be and with whom? Many times this question is avoided out of fear. Fear that the life you have now isn't the one you really want. Fear that the person you're with, the friends or the tribe is actually steering you further from your truth. Fear that if you answer honestly, it will mean you have to do something about it. Take your time with this question. Sit with it. Feel what bubbles up for you. What visions flash into your mind? Another thing you can do that you may find helpful to help you find your purpose in life is to start following those tiny urges you get from time to time. And you know the kind of thing I mean. Do you ever wake up in the morning and something just pops into your head and you feel like trying something new, you feel like experiencing something you haven't done before? And I'm sure there's, something that you have always wanted to do, but for some reason you just have never tried it. You've never taken that step. I know there's things I've wanted to do that I haven't done. So my advice to you is just to follow those urges and just go out there and try it. What is the worst that's going to happen? And finally, I want to end this video on a very positive note from a great quote by famous author Napoleon Hill, and it's this: "There is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is the definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it."